everybody's getting older. Like, we don't have that much time. You don't have a big window. On one level, I understand, and I personally believe something sketchy is happening in terms of perhaps getting a new quarterback. One bad news story that sort of breaks your heart. You're like, wow, that is probably the worst news I could have gotten today. The worst news I could have gotten today was to wake up and to find out Darren Waller was not going to be playing in this upcoming game. Couple that with the fact that, hey, he hasn't played in the past 4 games, haven't seen him really since the Chiefs game. And then on top of that, just a little bit later, another punch to the gut, which is Hunter Renfrow also is placed on IR, the beloved Hunter Renfrow. And this is a guy who hasn't had much production. I mean, it's so crazy to think that Darren Waller has at times had more production than Hunter Renfrow. And you thought, man, maybe this guy could turn it around. Maybe Hunter Renfrow could salvage the rest of this season because we've seen how productive he's been in the past, making the Pro Bowl last year. Keep that in mind. Do not forget that. Hunter Renfrow made the Pro Bowl last year. And we thought, all right, man, I know you can't even get close to 50 yards in most of these games due to whatever the hell genius Josh McDaniels decides to call. And hey, maybe you could turn it around. Maybe you can start implementing more freedom in your route running. We've heard of that in the past that happened to him under John Gruden. Maybe this could help you have some production and at least get, hey, maybe 600 yards this year, hopefully, maybe. And then now that opportunity is completely shut. It's completely closed. The chance of the Raiders, like, you know, this fantasy I have as a fan, because I'm always rooting for the team. I'm always believing that they can do the impossible. Whenever I hear that there's a 1% chance, a 2% chance, all I think is, so there's a chance. That's all I can think, right? And now when you see Renfrow, Waller on IR, the Raiders offense has had trouble. Even when they had a combination of Devontae Renfrow or Devontae and Waller, Raiders offense has still had trouble. And so I thought, okay, maybe there's still some hope if these guys, all 3 get back together. It's not going to happen this year, guys. Waller and Renfrow are going to be out 4 games. The Raiders have had trouble winning games right now with either any combination of them two. They're definitely going to have trouble now. And then it looks like the season's over, and it looks like whatever this 1 or 5% chance to make the playoff, you can just cross that off your list of Christmas wishes this year. I know Santa Claus is not delivering on my Christmas wishes this year. That's for damn sure. So it's like the season is not going to be playoff season. The season probably, most likely, if I'm being completely honest, not going to even be close to a winning record. We're going to have a losing season. We are going to have a losing season. Like, if you're going to gamble your life savings, you would never gamble your life savings on the Raiders having a winning record within these next 4 to 5 games. They are not going to win the majority of these next 4 to 5 games based on everything that's happening right now. I mean, I hope some of these other guys show up. I hope Foster Moreau balls out. I hope Mac Hollins can continue to thrive. We'll see if Keelan Cole gets more opportunities as well. And on top of that, Blake Martinez, and this is how you know things are falling apart inside the Raiders organization. This is how you know things are falling apart. Blake Martinez has retired, missed practice due to personal reasons. Now we know why. It's because he chose to eventually retire from football. Blake Martinez, who was the starting linebacker after Divine Diablo went on IR. Keep in mind, Divine Diablo went on IR Monday. So we lost Divine Diablo on Monday. Needed Blake Martinez even more because Jayon Brown has not been available. So it was the Perryman and Blake Martinez show. Couple that with the fact that we had Jonathan Abram playing a lot of linebacker, and we have now moved on from Jonathan Abram, released him. He's now going to be a Green Bay Packer, and I'm just preparing you emotionally for this. He is going to make plays, bro, as a Green Bay Packer. We know he's going to make plays as a Green Bay Packer, because if this season's going to have this big of a wound, you know there's going to be some more salt on it for us Raiders fans. So get ready for Abram to make some plays in a Packers uniform. Oh, by the way, I think I've seen another Raiders player wearing number 24 leaving the Raiders and going to the Packers and being extremely successful. I think I know of a guy who's done that before. Let me know in the chat, in the comments, if you know of a guy who's rocked 24 and has been in a Raiders uniform and completely balled out as a Packer. With Abram gone, he was playing some linebacker. Blake Martinez, you know, we're expecting more of him to be involved with the lack of Abram when we cut Abram's snap in the Saints game and this past Jags game. You had more Blake Martinez, so he was really gonna find a role. And the fact that this dude just straight up retires here, to me, that tells me he's lost hope in the Raiders season so far. And he originally signed because he thought he was gonna have a great opportunity here. I don't know if he's picking up on something going on. Yes, he played, like, I believe it was 7 seasons in the NFL. Blake Martinez Martinez, and the fact that he's retiring, I mean, he still wants to be able to try to land a contract at some point. And Blake Martinez is saying, I'm announcing my retirement from the game of football. I had an amazing journey with some incredible franchises, made some lifelong friendships. I've chosen to step away from this career at this time to focus on my family and future passions. I mean, when people retire like this, they can go on to other teams, and we've seen people give these heartfelt retirements and go on to play the exact next year. I mean, it's basically a way to get away from a team. You get away from a team by retiring, and perhaps Blake Martinez wanting to get away from the Raiders, had some time with Patrick Graham and the Giants, and wanted to reunite with him, see if he can make something special happen with the Raiders. That's obviously not going to happen at this point. That's obviously not going to happen anymore for Blake Martinez. We'll see who gets a shot. Luke Masterson, Darren Butler, probably going to get more of a shot, and Jayon Brown if he's healthy, but this guy has not been healthy for some time. Joshua Hughes, it seems like everyone is quitting on Josh McDaniels. It's gonna be an ugly game on Sunday for us. And everything that's happened with players, Devontae, Derek Carr making some comments about Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis doubling down that Josh McDaniels is here to stay. And now it seems like we're having more and more problems losing star players and releasing Jonathan Abram. I said yesterday with the release of Jonathan Abram, I felt like that sends shockwaves, right? That sends a feeling in the locker room. That sends a message in the locker room, even if it's not intentional. Like, people are gonna feel like, wow, the staff is really looking forward to next year. When you move on from Jonathan Abram and release him, yes, he probably wasn't gonna be part of the team, whatever. But if you're trying to win the most amount of games as possible, I don't think any reasonable person who's not being emotional, I don't think that they would say that Jonathan Abram doesn't give you a better shot at winning than Isaiah Pull-Him-Out. I think everybody could agree with that. You know, due to the injuries, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, all this, they've only been on the field together for 43 snaps. And I just thought this was kind of like, in my opinion, it sounds like it's going to be like the future excuse, which, like, that is tough. At the same time, a lot of teams have injuries, man. And a lot of teams have been able to have injuries at the wide receiver position and still do very well. Some of these teams are teams that I can't stand, so I don't even want to mention who they are. They're teams that I can't stand. Next year, if we're looking at this season, it's going to be like, oh, well, we didn't do well because of, we had so many injuries last year. That's another reason why we didn't win too many games. It almost seems like it's setting up an excuse, a cover for why this season doesn't go well. But I don't think injuries, I don't think you could blame it all on injuries for the Raiders this year. I don't think you could do that. Oh, we will give him 4 weeks to get healthy and come back to finish the season. Oh, we're going to come back to finish the season, guys. Everything's going to work out. Don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, after these next 4 weeks, I mean, does it really matter at that point? Like, what are we coming back to finish after these next 4 weeks? I mean, I really don't see the point here after these next 4 weeks. Let's see. Raiders schedule. I don't know if they're counting week 10. Probably not. So I'm going to say week 11, you miss this game. You miss week 12, miss week 13. Then you miss week 14 for sure. So they're going to be coming back against the Patriots. Oh my goodness. Waller and Renfrow going to be out these next 4 games. But when they will be back is going to be Sunday Night Football. If they're not done for the whole year. I mean, there's actually, you can technically return from IR after 4 weeks, but that doesn't always happen. I mean, they essentially, most of the time, IR means indefinitely the whole season. Now they've made it where you could potentially come back, whatever. If they can come back, it will be Sunday Night Football against the freaking Patriots. Oh, against Josh McDaniels' former team, Sunday Night Football. NFL seasons are tough. They're hard on your body. Everybody's getting older. Like, we don't have that much time. Devontae is getting older. Renfrow is getting older. Waller's getting older. We're all getting older. All these players, all these great players. Chandler Jones, I mean, he's already having trouble, and you don't have a big window. And so if you're telling me, on one level, I understand, and I personally believe something sketchy is happening in terms of perhaps getting a new quarterback. And because Carr's 1-year contract, to me, that is weird. To me, that is just weird that there's a 1 year out. I just think it's weird, and I think it's unnecessary. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's smart. If that is the plan, I do not agree with it, and I do not think it is smart. I think Derek Carr, if you cannot win with Derek Carr, I think you might be the problem, because we've seen Derek Carr win before. We have seen him win. And I think other teams, if he becomes available, will win with Derek Carr. If you're such a great coach, if you're such a genius, you should be able to cross the midfield against the Saints with Derek Carr. If you're not able to do that, I kind of put that a little more on you. You got to find ways to help your quarterback. I think we only have a small window. I think a rookie quarterback next year will not make the Super Bowl. I think this team in August had Super Bowl aspirations. And I think that if we had Derek Carr next year and all these weapons again, yeah, that puts you in a better position to win a Super Bowl than a rookie quarterback. However, the coaching staff could disagree. I mean, what if there is a plot this whole time to move on from Derek Carr? They signed everyone else on a long-term deal besides him, and now they're trying to get their own guy. I don't know. You could try to do that. Didn't work out too well for the Niners with Trey Lance. Didn't work out too well for them.